Well, dang. Dang it. Okay. Hi, everyone. This is ZeroEchoZenith speaking, and I want to talk a little bit about what's been going on within the last week and a half. This is showing that we are entering the next phase of the internet. So, yes, YouTube is rolling out AI in the US to detect if a user is actually 18 or not. So let's just go back real quick. Let's go to the beginning. Visa and MasterCard are reportedly censoring video games alongside Australian activist group Collective Shout. I don't think Collective Shout is necessarily involved with this thing, the Kids Online Safety Act. I don't necessarily think that they are related. The group Collective Shout, I guess they've been around for quite a while now, and Steam pretty much ignored them. So what they did was they went past Steam and all of these other distributors and went straight to the payment processors themselves. You know, things like Visa and MasterCard, Stripe, PayPal, whatever. And so they caused Steam and Itch to bend the knee and remove a bunch of adult content. Now, I understand the whole angle about, protecting the kids. You don't want adult games, like Zorn on these things, but in the guise of protecting children by removing options for adults in the first place, because just like a child can just be like, yeah, I'm 18. It feels like censorship. I go on Games Radar. I'm just looking at this. After Valve and Steam credit card companies, spurred by anti-Zorn group, sink their teeth into Itch, forcing countless not safe for work games off of the indie store under threat of critical payment failure, so that we can continue to operate and provide a marketplace for all developers. We must prioritize our relationship with all our payment processors or payment partners. So yeah, they were under scrutiny and being like, pressured, hey, remove all these things because all these tags that are listed, we're pressuring you guys, hey, you should remove these things for the safety of kids. What that has done is kind of opened the floodgates for censorship. That's what it is. It's censorship. Adults can make their own decisions, and parents need to make decisions for their kids about what is appropriate or not. Removing that and making some kind of nanny state by giving the government more power and overreach is a problem. I don't think Collective Shout started this whole thing, but I believe that they are one piece of the domino effect. To give just quick explanation, Collective Shout, based in Australia, by the way, the group had successful campaigns, including pressuring retailers like Target to pull Grand Theft Auto 5 from shelves in 2014. They're claiming responsibility for the purge on Steam and itch.io. In response to false claims and misinformation about our campaign, we're setting the record straight. Some have asked why we involved payment processors. We raised objection to games on Steam for months, and they ignored us for months. We approached payment processors because Steam did not respond to us, so we strong-armed their entire payment infrastructure to get them to comply. Itch.io is basically the indie marketplace for very, very niche indie games, not even niche games on Steam, practically. That kind of indie space. Technically, games and franchises that would be banned based on itch.io's new guidelines that they're putting into effect. You have things like horror games like Silent Hill or Baldur's Gate 3 for some of the themes that it has, Red Dead Redemption, again, for some of its themes. Same with The Witcher 3, which is a pretty mature game, and Yakuza, of course. All of these games are now at risk of being removed, pretty much by what this has turned into. But then, of course, you have a lot of people that are actually rallying behind this anti-censorship petition. You can call these payment processors and voice your complaints. And because of this, there's now a lot of pressure happening. They're feeling the burn. They're feeling the pressure. This is how we can voice our opinions about the censorship or, the removal of these harmful games. Some games are egregious. They do have pretty bad subject material, involved with them. They're not safe for work for a reason. I understand that. I understand protecting the kids. I get that, okay? But this is being used as a backdoor for the censorship of speech. It is. And technically expression. It is. Parents need to monitor what their kids are into, okay? Parents, you should be involved with what your kids are surfing into. About, the kind of games that they're downloading. Yes, of course, they need their space, but you don't want little Jimmy downloading, ready or not, uncensored on Steam or whatever. You shouldn't be limiting the decisions of adult people. That's what this is. So this is what the Kids Online Safety Act is. Just to go into quick detail, this is someone summarizing it. The Kids Online Safety Act is the US equivalent of the EU's Digital Services Act and UK's Online Safety Act. If passed, it will lead to digital identity, total de-anonymization of the internet, and massive censorship. It was introduced to Congress in May 2025. Basically, it puts an ID to people in order to surf the web. This doesn't just apply to sites like YouTube. It also is for things like Google, Bing, Spotify, Discord, etc., etc. Something similar. The Screen Act, it basically would put age verification for all children to be able to browse the web. And that would probably be for adults as well, because you need to prove that you're 18 or over. You need your government ID or a credit card. That's pretty much what it is. Oh, and also facial recognition. That's what they're doing. So within the last 24 hours, Australia is banning YouTube accounts for users under 16 as part of the new national social media restrictions. Okay, well, how do you prove that you're over 16? They want your data. They want your biometric data. You have to basically prove that you are 16 or over, especially for new accounts. Now, I understand, yeah, putting your birth date, that's the main safeguard for that. Like, make sure that you're born by this date and everything. What's stopping a kid from doing that? Well, photo ID, government ID, credit card. That's the main three things. Teens under the age of 16 will retain the ability to view YouTube videos, but they will no longer be permitted to hold an account. Since an account is required to upload content or interact on a platform, their participation will be limited to passive viewing. There's content that you can view on YouTube without an account that is kind of obscene. How do you deal with that? Yeah, the federal government has confirmed it will ban YouTube accounts under 16. This is for, Australia. Sorry, Jimmy, you can't, follow your favorite music artist. You're just gonna have to deal with the government, because they have no idea how to deal with their own web space. Your Spotify account is getting deleted unless you do age verification. My age check shows I'm not old enough to use Spotify, so you're gonna need to prove that you're old enough, and the way how you do that is through your ID, of course. Giving them your ID for this not safe for work application to view music. And if they still can't confirm that you're old enough to use Spotify, they will just delete the account anyways. That's great. Hey, also, if you mention your age whatsoever on Discord now, they will then have you double check your account settings. Discord's automated system blocking my account, requiring age verification due to this message. I'm 30. Yep, so this person just said, like, I'm literally double his age. Government ID, please. This is getting out of hand. Yep, right there. Take a video selfie or scan your ID. This is disgusting, guys. You're gonna have to give your ID one way or another to prove that you are your age. We're not censoring anyone. Care Starmer, whatever his name is. Repeal the Online Safety Act. Yeah. Yeah, due to local laws, you can't view anything on X. There is a Repeal the Online Safety Act. It has almost 500,000 signatures. Parliament will consider this for debate. However, the government has responded. TLDR, guess what they said? We're thinking of the safety of children. We're not repealing it. Nope, they're not repealing it at all. They're not going to repeal the Online Safety Act. They're going full bore. All because people are complacent, I guess? Or, it's a coordinated censorship campaign by various government bodies. And it's like, oh, well, this is overseas. This doesn't deal with the US. It's literally affecting the US. So now we're here. This is affecting people in the US. This is affecting everybody. We're here now. Starting in August, I believe. Yeah, this person pulled from YouTube's recent blog post. Here's how it works. So YouTube is going to use AI to interpret signals in your viewing and research habits to help determine if a user is 18 or older. It includes types of videos a user is searching for, the categories of videos they have watched, or the longevity of the account. So then what that'll do is they'll turn on safeguards, disable targeted advertising, and they'll turn on digital well-being tools. If the system incorrectly estimates a user to be under 18, it will have the option to verify that they are 18 or over, such as using a credit card or a government ID. That's what I'm referring to, everybody. Hey, guess what? The AI is gonna suck. The AI is probably gonna look at your videos and be like, oh, well, you're really into Bionicles. That's pretty kiddish. What are you? You're not a man. Huh. A lady. Huh. You're not into what? You're looking at some Barbie videos. Maybe you're researching something and you have to like look into Barbie for like a few hours. Oh, that's pretty kiddish. You now have to show that you are 18 or older. Your account is only 5 years old. You have to show that you're 18 or over. It doesn't matter that your birth date shows that you are 27. No, you have to prove. Government ID, please. Facial scan recognition. Give us a sample of your voice. Sir, can I see that Adam's apple? So, yeah, this is garbage. So I don't understand either, because wasn't there supposed to be a YouTube app for children, like teenagers and kids, that kind of separates them from the potential horrors on YouTube? Because yes, there are horrors on YouTube. We all know that there are horrors on YouTube. Let's not kid ourselves, everybody. YouTube Kids, what happened to that? Why are we now extending this to YouTube? Why are you limiting free speech? Why are you limiting, adults from being able to express themselves, or just the censoring the kind of content that adult people can deal with, and say and everything? Why are you now having to put an ID to every single person? Oh, and don't get me wrong, there are horrors on YouTube Kids as well. You just have to be careful what you're surfing into. This is a massive problem. Oh, by the way, in the UK as well, they are now straight up just banning VPNs. They're going into, everything. UK households could face VPN ban after use skyrockets following the online safety bill. Yep, they're looking into it now. Oi, you got a license for that viewing of that video on YouTube? You got a license? Got a license to research bionicles on YouTube? It just looks like that this is here to silence people's personal opinions in politics, regardless of what side they're on. It's a direct overstepping of the First Amendment in the US. And you might think like, oh, well, this wasn't going to affect us. Well, it's too late. The information's already out there. They're pretty much planning on screwing with everything, I mean, with the Screen Act being introduced, it's now also going to affect everybody, because they all have to prove that they are of age just to use the internet, and it doesn't really matter where you come from. Like, what if a parent wants to go on a website later on to explore it and, I guess, make an account to make sure that it's safe for their kid, and then their account gets flagged, and then they have to prove that they're 18 or over? They don't want to have to give their idea to do that. That's so stupid. And I want to go back to the YouTube thing. So what about people that don't have an account, but they do want to browse on YouTube, like on the TV or something? They don't log in. Are they just going to now roll out that, no, eventually you will just need to have an account, every single person, just to view videos on YouTube? They kind of already have that on X in order to view people's posts, but then again, you really don't want to make an X account until you're at least an adult, in my opinion. Let's be real here. But again, your parent or guardian or whatever has to make that decision for you to protect you as a kid or a teenager. The government shouldn't be protecting you in that way. Your parent has to, not the nanny state that we're basically making with this. So I'm just trying to point out today that there's so much happening with, the UK doing the whole banning people off of YouTube and, like Discord and Spotify unless they can prove that they're 18 or at least 16 or whatever. It's to protect the kids and everything, along with all the other censorship about removing adult games with Collective Shout. Again, I don't think Collective Shout deals with the Child Safety Protection Act. I think it's just a happy coincidence, or an unfortunate coincidence, that this whole thing has turned into what it is. But yeah, they're banning VPNs in the UK, so people can't get around this. Though people have gotten around the photo verification by using something like Gary's mod, or even Norman Reedus's character in Death Stranding, to be able to prove that they're a person, that they're of age. Look at those wrinkles. And then recently, the president met with the prime minister, and the prime minister basically said, yeah, we're not censoring people. We're just, we're thinking of the kids. We're protecting the kids. Well, he gave a stern warning, a strong warning. You probably shouldn't be starting a mass censorship campaign. So I want to end on these two things. This is from this guy. The boiling frog is a perfect metaphor for where we're at right now. The boiling frog is a fable describing a frog slowly being boiled alive. The premise is that if the frog is suddenly put into the boiling water, it will jump out. But if the frog is put in tepid water, which is then brought to a boil slowly, it will not perceive the danger and will be cooked to death. This is the being cooked to death, everybody. But it started with payment processors doing some shenanigans, to Australian and UK governments going against, the internet and being like, hey, you gotta prove that you're 16 or over. Photo ID, biometric data, please. Give us all of your information so we know where you are in order to, to now the Labour Party introducing a legislation that will require ID to use search engines for, like, Google. This affects us now. This affects the US. This is coming for us now. And if you don't think that this is meant to censor people's opinions or just their voices, which is a direct infringement on the First Amendment, I'm gonna leave on this. You make your own decisions on where the internet is going for both overseas and over here in the US. Barry Gardner, Labor MP, finally admits that the online safety bill is to stop adults' free speech that they don't like.
Online safety bill. If it's just about children, is it just about children, or does it focus on adults?
Do you think that should be an elite squad?
Barry, does it just focus?
Protect 13-year-old
I'm sorry,
girls?
the elite squad is not about children. Actually, shall I read you the thing? An elite squad of police officers is to monitor social media for anti-migrant sentiment. I don't think 13-year-olds are engaging that. So, is it also to monitor adults? Simple question, yes or no?
Yes, of course it will.
Okay,
there we go. Look, sorry.
Bye, everybody. This is ZeroEchoZenith signing off. Take care and protect yourself, I guess.